everyone. So I wanted to share some top tips for working at home, from home, as I'm a work at home lifer. I'm currently getting ready now to work from home, even though I'm at home with my stepdad, who also works from home, don't you? So what do you do from home?
Well, I've got 2 or 3 businesses, and I run them all from my little office at home.
And how do you find, so this is my get up. I've done some yoga this morning as we're going through a period of change in the UK, where a lot of us are getting prepared to work from home. But I'm fortunate in that I've done it for years, and it's how I work best now.
I hope you're not burning your hair.
I'm probably burning my hair from home. But for me, it's that routine. So this morning I've done some yoga, and now I'm getting ready, which is weird because I'm probably not actually going to leave the house today.
But it's very important to have a routine, and it's very important that you feel good and ready to work.
Yeah.
So how does your yoga help?
I think for me, I don't know if you've heard of the Miracle Morning book, but I've been doing that, and that really helps with the structure. So it's to get up at a set time each morning, no matter what. So it does take commitment, and then basically do some movement, exercise, and then some time doing your personal development. So that could be like goal setting. You're also supposed to have a glass of water and brush your teeth and stuff like that. So it's like...
But don't tell me it's in the book that tells you you've got to brush your teeth.
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. But again, it's just those little actions, and I always say it's rituals that equal results. And for me, I find that helps, because otherwise you do have the temptation just to kind of get up whenever, and then the longer I stay in bed, the less motivation I have. And for somebody, especially like me, who has anxiety, although I think a lot of us at the moment feel anxiety, or feeling anxious about the current situation, I think it's really helpful to have that boost on a morning. So what do you tend to do on a morning?
Yeah. Well, my routine really starts the day before.
Okay.
The night before. You know, a lot of people like to do a to-do list. You get up in the morning, you write a to-do list. Well, if you can do that the night before, it's really helpful. What am I going to do tomorrow? Get it all out, so when you get up, you can go straight into your job, because the job's already there. You don't have to think, well, what's most important today? You've done it the night before. You can go to sleep, it's out. You get up in the morning, it's fresh, ready to do it. It's one of the most important things.
Yeah, so planning the night before. Yeah,
and so that's really good, because it means, and depending on who you are, I know someone who plans just to wake up. Because he's getting old, you see, and he's just pleased to be here. So he always, top of his list is wake up.
I like that. It's those small goals, because you have to have the ones that are easy to achieve as well. So for me, for somebody who's done it for a while, I tend to have kind of Sunday/Monday as my sort out day for my week. So ideally, if I can get the kids sorted on a Sunday, I do it on a Sunday, so I can kind of plan for the week ahead and think, okay, so what is my big goal this week? I then, after I've decided on that, I then break it down into days, and then also on a Monday, I have an accountability buddy, Jordan. So I definitely recommend getting an accountability buddy, especially if you're new to working from home. It's really, really helpful to have someone basically that you check in with either weekly or daily to make sure you're on top of your goals, because that's something I think that's really important. And then for me, I theme each day, which works for me, but it's more about the routine that I have. So I have a different main task each day, and then mini goals as well within that. So obviously work has to be flexible. You might have other commitments, you might have children around, but I find if I theme each day with like one big goal, and then I'll do as many little ones as well, and then that makes me feel like I've accomplished something each day.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Good idea. And I do as well, because I've got different businesses, different enterprises. I try, you don't have to be exact about everything, you've got to have some flexibility, but I try have a couple of days a week assigned for this work and a couple of days for that, and then another day for mix and match.
Yeah.
But also I find that in my routine, if I get up early and get straight into it, obviously
there's some emails arriving on the other phone.
Obviously wake up, brush my teeth, have a glass of water, whatever you say, have my breakfast, but then get straight in nice and early. I can do almost a day's work in a couple of hours if I'm focused. The phone's not ringing. I'm not starting off by going through all the emails, because that's a time sink. And also, what it does to your brain, it's like taking an eraser. None of you will ever seen a blackboard, but when I went to school, they used to use a blackboard. But whiteboards, you know what a whiteboard is. It's like taking the eraser and wiping off everything off the board. If you start going through your emails, start going through the texts, start checking out Facebook and WhatsApp and all this other stuff, by the time you get started, you think, oh, well, what was I going to do?
Yeah.
And then you might actually get, oh, there's an email that came yesterday, and you start working on that and start doing this, and you're prioritising. It's really important to prioritise what you need to do. And if you can do that sooner rather than later, because the temptation is to have a look at this stuff, and then, well, I've got all day, and then by the afternoon comes, you're still messing about doing stuff which is other people's input that's doing everything to take you away from what you feel you need to do.
Yeah.
So it's really important just to get into it, cut that stuff out, and then you've got all day, if that's what you want to do in the day, to do other things.
Yeah, and I find it's getting those couple of hours of genius moments and allowing yourself time for that. So I'm going to have to change my plan a bit, because I get up at a certain time when I don't have the kids to go. Normally it would be to go to the gym, and that helps me with structure my day. But now, because I won't be able to go to the gym and I might have the kids more at home because they're not at school, I'm going to have to restructure. And I've already decided, from having years of working from home, even when the kids were little, that I'll get up even earlier, so that, touch wood, they'll still be asleep, although you can never seem to control kids, unfortunately. But I will try.
Somehow I know that. Yeah. I remember when you were.
But at least having that time as much as possible for myself on a morning, where I do some yoga stretches, do some goal setting, and then crack on with 2 hours of solid work before the kids get up. I think I'm going to do that when I do have the kids. And even probably stick to that when I don't have the kids, because then otherwise we've got this almost a weird thing at the moment. We've got this vast array of time that we've never had, which at first can feel daunting. Then it can feel exciting, because you think, oh great, I can be in my PJs all day. But then the reality can be quite challenging, because suddenly you have no structure and you have all these blanks to fill, so you can easily cram stuff that isn't important into that, which doesn't leave you feeling good by the end of the day. So I definitely recommend getting your big goals done first. What do they say?
Eat the ugly frog.
Oh, eat the ugly frog. I was going to say break the donkey's back.
I see what you mean, yes. But
I don't know. There's no donkey in my garden, don't worry.
If there's a job or a phone call or something you don't want to do, it's about getting that one done first. Because you'll know what it is, because you don't want to do it. But actually get it done. Get that phone call made. I know amount of times you get a phone call, you think, oh, I don't want to call that client because I know they're unhappy. Yeah. And you put it off and you put it off, and all you're doing is carrying a little bit of stress, and the longer it goes, the worse it gets. And then you make that phone call, oh, it's all done. What was I worried about? It's about eat the ugly frog first, is what they say. Get that job done, get that out of the way, and then everything else can fall into place.
Yeah, and even how you structure your week. So I do all my phone calls on a Monday, because I have a real phone phobia. I hate using my phone to call, as you know, because I just don't answer.
Text.
Oh, did you call? I'll text you saying, did you call? Text me back. But obviously phone communication is important, especially at the moment. But for me, unless it's like friends and social, if it's work related or something that will cause me a bit of stress, I do try and do that on a Monday. And yeah, just to get that over with, because I know if I've got, so for me it's phone calls, for you it might be your accounts or admin or something else, and it's that for me, but mainly phones. I know that I'll do my phone calls, my worst fears, on a Monday to get that done, because all week I'll be worried then.
But then there's
if I don't do that,
something about managing your time, and if you're someone that maybe experiences anxiety like Sophie does over phone calls, then within that phone call you can do the follow-ups by actually managing it by saying, okay, so we've agreed such and such, can we follow up by email? Can we follow up on LinkedIn? Can we follow up however it is? So you don't have to repeat. And if that is causing you anxiety, I think you've got to try and get over some of your hurdles and work through them, but it doesn't mean you have to avoid everything all the time, but you can manage it.
Yeah.
You've got the call done, and then it's out of the way. And then if it comes up next week or later in the week, you can follow up on emails. If you set that in precedent, rather than saying, okay, well, let's call on Thursday, and then you've got that anxiety building, oh God, I've got to phone them again. When if you know it's going to be an email on Thursday, much easier.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, it's setting your own boundaries as well, because now you've got all this time, you could literally feel like you're working 24/7, and it is so true the saying, work smarter, not harder, because I always find the longer I work, the actual less I work. So when I force myself to stay up late, which I do a lot, and I don't actually get the most out of my work if I've got this vast amount of time. I'm better to do it, I always say, like a HIIT class, so high intensity interval training, where basically I'm doing a burst of work and then I'm having a break doing something else. So for me it'll be doing some exercise or activity around the house, or if the kids are here, be doing something with them, or cleaning or whatnot. It's just breaking your day up into little chunks, and I think that really helps, having a structure, saying, okay, I'm only working from this time to this time, then I'm going to do this, and having that.
Yeah, it's very good. And with doing that, you can also set yourself with boundaries throughout the day, because Sophie's quite right. Some people will do a little bit of work throughout the day, going way on into the night. And what I wouldn't recommend is doing your work from your bed in your pajamas, because we've got laptops. Yeah, you can do it for a little bit. Why not? Yeah, that's what they're for. They're portable. But in my experience, after you've been sitting in bed with a laptop for half an hour, you get a numb bum. Your knees get all hot. And so you move down to the sofas and you're doing it. And then actually, the best place for a laptop is actually on the desk.
Yeah.
So if you've got a desk or a table to work from, do it. And just because you're at home doesn't mean you can't. You're not trying to pull a fast one on your boss or on the company. You still got to work. So the best place is doing it at a desk, setting those boundaries, time boundaries, and expecting, how much work should I be able to get done in this time? And then having a break, doing something entirely different, like some exercise, cooking some lunch, watching some telly, anything. But do come back to it.
Also having a lot of time for that as well, because otherwise our time can just be kind of like, it can just flow into one another.
Oh yes, and that you're right there in what you're saying, that if you are working, because I know lots of people that are constantly working, but they get less done. It's not very productive. You're more productive if you do it in chunks. You have some free time in between, and you get back to it, and it's more fun actually.
Yeah, and I'd definitely say for me, I find I have like a time plan. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and don't beat yourself up if you don't always stick to it. but do where possible. So it's thrown me this week, because in the UK at the moment, as recording this, with the coronavirus outbreak and a lot of uncertainty, as there is a lot already in the world, I've had to then take action and set up groups and do things, because it is a crisis at the moment. But I know that once this kind of week is over and things are in place that I can help support each other, I will then go back to my time plan and have my theme each day of what I do each day, and breaking it down into goals. And because otherwise it's easy to not feel like we've done anything, because you're like, oh, I've just faffed around all day. And you might have actually done stuff, but until you look and you tick stuff off. So I have, this is how geeky I am, I have the schedule, which nobody would believe because I am very creative and scatty, but to do the amount of things that I do, I have some kind of organisation, even though I'm clumsy and I go around a lot. So look, I won't show you all my messy notes, but I have like things to do today, and then you can list the priority, like 1, 2, 3, 4. I just star the 3 big things that I need to do that day, and the day, and then it just helps me break it down. And then I have this, although the kids have helped not, by wiping off my goals this week. So I'd put it high away if you've got little hands or annoying people in the house. But it says top tasks to do today. But I do that for my weekly goals, because I couldn't be bothered to update that every day. So they're like my 4 big weekly goals, which helps me stay on track, because that's the other thing when you're working from home. You can feel like really overwhelmed with everything. So at first you feel like it's a luxury, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like you've said, you know, when you're on your own sometimes you can like...
I could spend a week without talking to anyone.
Yeah.
Without seeing anyone. So I have to build in things so that I do see people, see them sociable, you know, and you know, I can work totally. And you don't realise it, but after the week goes on, you're becoming more and more isolated, or I'm becoming more and more isolated, and just a bit more fed up with things. You don't realise it, it just carries on. And because I'm quite a sociable person, I like to be around people, and so I've built things like that into my life. You know, I've got so I do things on evenings, and I do things on daytimes with others, especially to have that interaction. Now the funny thing is, when I'm having that interaction, it almost feels like, well, why am I doing this? It's just a cup of coffee, or something like that. But actually, it's vitally important. When I go without it, I start to feel a bit fed up. I think melancholy is a word I haven't used for a long time. Just a bit. Yeah. And then get together with a group of guys, and before I know it, we're all laughing, and we're joking, and what have you, and then I come back to the office and feeling loads better. Yeah,
and that's the same kind of buzz I get from exercise as well. Is that kind of just that release. You always think, oh, but I haven't got time, when actually it will save you so much time doing that, because they also say, and this is note to self as well, there's no such thing as multitasking, it's just switching tasks. And that's a massive note to myself, because I do try and multitask all the time and then do nothing right. But again, it's a learning journey for you and for me, for everyone. I think at the moment it's trying to adopt to change, which the only constant in life is change, which I love. Is one of my favourite quotes in yoga, because that helps you to zen, and that's the things that you can be in control of, like yoga and doing meditation, or having some self-care time. So to round it up, our top tips, let's fire them away. We'll do 5 each.
Top tips for working from home?
Yeah. Okay. I'd say find an accountability buddy now. Find a friend, partner, whoever it is that you can check in with at least once a week to set your goals, and then you basically check up each week and check that you've hit your goals, and then what your goals are for the following week. Defo recommend.
My top tip is have a big goal to go for, you know, and I'm talking, you know, I want to have a new house, I want to have a boat, I want to have a big holiday, I want to climb a mountain, something like that, because I'd love to have something to work towards. It's not all work. and then my little goals are helping me do that. So I might need to make more money. So how am I going to make more money to do that? And I make the smaller goals that sort of go towards that same bigger goal.
Yeah, so rituals and also finding your why, I guess everyone calls it, isn't it? It's why you want to carry on, and there are lots of things to be grateful for. Another top tip would be to try and get organised where possible. This comes from me, who is a creative, dyslexic, a bit all over the place. I cause my own mess, which is very frustrating for myself. But I try my best to rein that in, because I know that by setting these goals, breaking my days down into themes. So for some people, the whole bullet journal thing works, and doing like being really regimented, whereas that doesn't work with me personally. I don't work well, but you might work well. So it's biding yourself a bit of time, using the first kind of week or two to just trial a few ways of organising yourself and find what works for you. But also working from somewhere like not in your bed. So I'll change my scenery. So I'm lucky enough to have a home office. So sometimes I'll work in there. Then to do another job, I'll go downstairs and work at the kitchen table. But I never sit on the sofa. And I've stopped myself from working in bed on the laptop. So they're my two no-go areas. But then I will move around, or even in the kids' bedroom on their desk, just to kind of vary my scenery. I like that.
Okay, yeah, just one tip to finish off with, and that's if you've got children, if you're at home, or isolated, everyone's closed up, shut shop, then you mentioned getting up a bit earlier or staying up a bit later, having some time to do your jobs or your work outside of kids, because it's really difficult if to work and have children, especially if they're young. They're demanding and they need your care, and to be working and half looking after them isn't really good enough, where you can be really proactive, do lots more if you just get up an hour or two earlier, depending on what time your kids wake up, and then do that, so that when they're getting up for breakfast, you're there with them, and when you're going through the day, you have some big blocks of time, and then you say to them, actually, I'm going to be working for the next hour, depending on how big they are, and then work for that hour, and then you give them back their time. And you are not responsible for keeping them entertained all the time. It is not your job to be the boredom eliminator. It's okay for kids to get bored, really it is. That's part of growing up, and they've got to learn with that. It's okay to say, go and find something to do. Oh, what can I do? Oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. Go and find something. It's not your job to do it all the time, but you are there to be there for them, and when you're not working, you're there really for them. And involve them in tasks as well. So I know I'll be doing a lot more vlogging live on here and my belly dancing channel, and when they're here with me, I'm gonna have to involve them, because I won't have the time or space. They will not give me the space to not involve them. So then it's thinking, okay, so how can I shape my work around them? So I'm lucky I can be flexible. But even if it's like saying, okay, you're doing this for this amount of time whilst I'm doing this, and then we'll do something fun together, and kind of allotting that. And that's something I'm going to be trying out as well, because otherwise I think we'll all end up feeling a bit frazzled and all over the place. But finally, reach out and get support. So it can feel lonely at times working from home, but it can also be a great thing and a great opportunity to get all those nitty-gritty stuff that when you're making the tea round or you're on the commute, that you never get done. So you can make the most of your time, as losing the commute and losing the tea rounds will definitely save you a lot of time. But just capitalise on that and use this time, great time for personal development, reaching out to people, collaborations online, and also use that time to get support, because no man or woman is an island. Anyway, peace, love,
and shimmies. And please do share away with anyone you find it useful. And you can also chat to me on social media at Mama May Blog. And you're lucky I didn't make you shimmy.
Yes.
You got off lightly.
I don't mind, they're lucky.